Hey there! A few months ago I did a review of my new mountain bike, and I said that I'm not going to do another bike review. So today I have changed my mind, because I think it would be interesting, might be interesting for you to see a review of my old mountain bike as well. And I think I found the perfect location for this review, in front of these ruins from the Middle Ages. So I am close to the town named Dörgice in Hungary, which is in the Balaton uplands. So you can see the lake down there. Nice place. And here is my bike. I actually don't remember exactly when I bought it. It must have been somewhere between 2000 and 2002. So it's more than 20 years old, that's for sure. So it's not as old as these ruins, but it's from the very beginning of this millennium. So it is a CUBE. CUBE, by the way, is a German brand. Looks like they actually still manufacture their bikes in Germany. I'm not sure if they really weld the frames or if they do that in Asia like almost all other bike companies. I'm not sure, but at least the main manufacturing plant is in Germany, in northern Bavaria, actually very close to the place where I was born. And yeah, it's a CUBE LTD, which stands for limited for some reason, some marketing reason. I don't know the exact type. Maybe it's just LTD2, something like that. So that's the bike, more than 20 years old, and I think I made something like 30,000 kilometers with it. It was my first real mountain bike. Had some other bikes before, racing bikes, trekking bikes, and yeah, the frame of course is made from aluminum, so it's aluminum alloy 7005. I'm not really familiar with these aluminum alloys, so it's not high end, I think, but it could be worse. So yeah, that's the frame. And of course, at this time, all the mountain bike frames had 26-inch wheels, and same here. And so the wheels are smaller. Today you typically have 29 inches. So the wheels are smaller, and that means that the frame can also be smaller. So as I said, I bought a new mountain bike, a 29-inch bike, a few months ago. And yeah, how does it compare? So I would say, as long as you are riding the bike, it feels better with 29 inches. So maybe it's just my imagination, but it feels somehow that it rolls smoother, more stable. But sometimes you have to carry the bike around when the terrain is really difficult, or if you store your bike in the basement and have to carry it up the stairs like that. So in this case, the 26-inch frame is much handier. So it's really much easier to carry it around. And well, yeah, they both have their advantages and disadvantages. So what else do we have? Let's have a look at the brakes. Another difference, of course, nowadays, basically all mountain bikes have disc brakes. These are Magura hydraulic caliper brakes. So this company Magura it's also a German company, and they were one of the first producers of these hydraulic brakes. So at that time many bikes still had these mechanical caliper brakes, V-brakes normally, and the hydraulic ones were a little bit high-end at that time. But I really wanted to have them because they are much smoother. You can control the force, the braking force, much better with these hydraulic brakes. So these are the Magura brakes, and yeah, how do they compare to disc brakes? Normally you don't notice a huge difference. Of course, these caliper brakes, they, at least in theory, they can be much stronger. They have much more braking power, just because, you know, the diameter of the wheel which is used for braking is of course much larger than the diameter of a disc. So the leverage, the torque is higher. But in practice there is no huge difference in practical situations. And yeah, the drawback of course of these caliper brakes is that they can get wet and dirty easily, but again, in practice, no big deal. Another reason why many people don't like these caliper brakes is they basically brake on the wheel itself. So of course when you brake a lot, when you do a lot of braking, some material, at least in theory, will be removed from the wheel, and that can be a problem. But as I said, 30,000 kilometers, more than 20 years, no issue at all with that. Okay, what else do we have? The saddle. Okay, the saddle, it's actually quite a nice leather saddle. By now it's a little bit torn up, it's a little bit damaged, but it still does its job, so no issue with the saddle. Okay, so let's look at the gear shifting mechanism. So I think I have to turn the bike around. Okay, so let's have a look. The front derailleur, I'm not sure if that is the correct term, is an Shimano LX, and the rear one is an XT, which is quite a good gear shifting mechanism. I had no issue with it. It still works very well. Only one repair about 5 years ago, I think, which I wasn't able to do myself. Okay, so anything else worth mentioning? Okay, yeah, of course. So I think the most interesting thing are the tires. So the bike didn't come with these tires originally. It had a type of tire named Racing Ralph from Schwalbe, and these were great tires. I mean, they were super lightweight, they had perfect grip and so on, but I found that I got some punctures. So within 2 weeks or so I had, I think, 3 punctures, 3 flat tires, and so I decided that's not the right tire for me, and I decided to change it. I've been looking for a tire that is really durable, and I have chosen this one. It's also from the same brand, Schwalbe. It's a Marathon XR. So, and the interesting thing is this tire has been on the bike since more than 20 years. I've never changed it, And during all that time I had, I think, 2 flat tires. It does have some drawbacks. So when you look at the profile here, it is not a typical mountain bike profile. So you can imagine that it does not have the best grip, especially if you're riding on gravel, but I'm not doing that often. But then when you look at the profiles, it actually didn't change a lot within these 20 years and 30,000 kilometers. And the other disadvantage of this tire is it's heavy. So you did notice the difference between the original tires and these ones. So that's something I find quite interesting, because many people will tell you you have to change the tires after 5 years or even 3 years because the material will deteriorate. You will get issues, but at least in this case, no issues at all. So yeah, I think that's about all I wanted to say about my old mountain bike. So you can see it is not always necessary to change the bike after a few years. So why did I change the bike? Why did I buy a new one last year? It was mainly because I was curious. I wanted to see how it compares to my old one. And the other reason is I wanted to have 2 mountain bikes because, you know, I live in Germany most of the time, but I spend a lot of time and do a lot of cycling in Hungary, here in Hungary. And I don't want to transport my bike all the time with the car, so I wanted to have a bike here as well. And that's it. And it's always good to have some different options. Wait a minute, I forgot to talk about the suspension. And probably the reason is that suspension never has been that important for me. And actually I don't really know what brand, what kind of fork that is. It's, I don't know. That's it. Once again, I'm saying probably my last bike review, but who knows. So my next video probably it might be bike related, but it will not be a review. Okay, so hope that was interesting for you. See you next time. Bye bye.